Welcome to the Bleav Podcast Network SoCal Sweat. My name is Anne McDaniels, a former NFL cheerleader and product manager turned actress and model who dreams of being a UFC fighter. Meow. Learning strategies to help motivate others leads me to bring you interviews each week from a range of athletes, experts in fitness and nutrition, and so much more. Thanks for listening to Bleav, the #1 podcast for working professionals, and let's push our endorphins to higher performance through SoCal Sweat. This is your host, Anne McDaniels, and welcome to another episode of SoCal Sweat. In this episode, I don't want this little old country gal to fool you. My guest, Amber Strouser, is a professional dancer who cheered for the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, performed all over the world, and finally landed on the Vegas stages as a real Las Vegas showgirl. Since her current show, Purple Rain, is postponed for COVID, she quickly pivoted to her fitness career. Not only is this red-hot spinstress a cycle instructor, but she is also a personal trainer who opened a gym in her garage called RedHotBox Fitness. This clever vixen was not only fulfilling fantasies on the Vegas stage, but she now fulfills fitness fantasies in the RedHotBox gym. Now take that as you will, as Amber is a redhead. I can't wait to introduce you to my dear friend and fellow NFL cheerleader alumni, Miss Amber Strouser. Well, today it is such a pleasure to introduce to you Amber Strouser of RedHotBox Fitness. Among so many other things, she is a real Vegas showgirl. And I'm talking a real Vegas showgirl. And she took this and parlayed her showgirl just persona into a fitness company. And it's called RedHotBox Fitness, which actually allows you to live out your fitness desires at RedHotBox, which is her personal gym. Hello, Amber Strouser.
Hey, McDaniels.
How are you today in Vegas? Is it super hot there?
You know what? I think back in 1944, there were 66 days of triple digits, and we had 41, and then we had a day where it was 99 degrees. I think back on Tuesday, but now this whole weekend we're back in triple digits. So yes, it is hot, very hot.
Oh, that's horrible. I hope you have a pool somewhere.
You know what? Not yet. That is in my future. Ideally, speaking of pool, I want to be able to offer for my clients, training with me, and then you can go and just hang out at my pool /jacuzzi/wet deck. So you could just come and hang out at RedHotBox all damn day if you want.
/cryogenic lab /sauna and a hot steam room. You'll have it all at the RedHotBox Fitness.
Exactly. Yeah.
Desires.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, so Amber and I were actually NFL cheerleaders, not together. She was on the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, and I was, of course, on the Vikings, the much lesser of the brands. Anyways, so please tell us about your amazing background in dance, which really got you started.
Sure. So my mom enrolled me in dance at the age of 5, and I absolutely hated it. And she made me go back the second year, and then I loved it. And thankfully, I've made a career out of it. My first professional job, I was 16 years old working, performing in a Mary Kay industrial show in Dallas, Texas. And then I was attending Performing Arts High School, Booker T. Washington in Dallas. And we did ballet and modern, but I was more of a musical theater kid. Jazz and tap was my thing. Mm-hmm. And so for college, I went ahead and tried out for the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders as an option because I ended up attending Southern Methodist University in Dallas, but they just do ballet and modern, and I didn't want to spend another 4 years. So I was like, oh, let me try this angle. And I made the squad, and I had to choose between becoming a dance major or cheering. And I was like, I'm going to cheer. It's something different. And also, for all you dancers out there that want to pursue dance, if you want to educate as a dancer, having a degree as a dancer is beneficial. If you just want to go and dance, go and dance. You do not need a degree. I have never been asked, let me see your degree at an audition. And I'm sure you can relate, Anne. It doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
You either have the type and the talent to dance or you don't. But if you want to educate, definitely get that degree. So
Yeah.
anyway, I cheered for 2 seasons. And it was so fun. My most favorite memories were the USO tours. And so I then later on got to join a group called the Perfect Angels, and we did USO tours. So I've been on 13 USO tours, and it is my absolute most favorite and most prideful entity I think that I've been a part of. And so that is very humbling and exciting.
Yeah, you've always been very respectful and you take the military very seriously. And those tours really open you up. Yeah, those things like that on the NFL, it's probably the most rewarding. I mean, I also love doing the charity events like, Habitat for Humanity and everything else too, but the military specifically because it resonates through the NFL. So,
Yeah, and I had family that also served, and like you said, doing other charity events, giving back to the community, it was just a really beautiful thing. And I think being a part of the NFL organization allows for that. It's a platform for that. And so I'm grateful, and then after I cheered, I ended up pursuing my dance career. I've lived on Saipan and in Greece and Milan and Paris, and, all dancing has taken me all over the world. I think simply just saying yes to opportunity has opened up so many different doors, and also being grateful and saying yes allows more abundance to flow in.
you
So
always do.
it's been great.
Absolutely.
And
Now,
I'm still dancing.
besides the dance, and we'll get back into what you've become in Vegas as well.
Yeah,
You're also no stranger to fitness. I mean, you used to be a bodybuilder. You've showcased on stage before. Have you not?
I did. When I was at Southern Methodist University, I was still a freshman, and it was my second semester, and I was in a wellness course. And my instructor was like, you should enter this bodybuilding contest. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm a dancer. I can't put on big muscle. Like, being lean is an asset. And
Mhm.
so I really only had 2.5 to 3 months to train. I ended up hiring a trainer and building muscle because as a dancer, I was very like fit, and also my legs were really strong, but my upper body was very not as strong. Most of the times sorry, those are my dogs. Most of the time it's all legs dancing. And so I had to build, and I grew confidence in the gym and fell in love with weight training and completely remolded my shape from a really skinny ballerina, long, lengthy body to more of a feminine shape.
Yeah, that's
And
a lot of
now we're
work,
both
and that's a lot of fitness and nutrition and a lot of things that go into it. So, I mean, you're very lean, but you also have that kind of a mesomorph. Like, I feel like you can pack on muscle pretty quickly, and it's extremely defined just because of diet. You keep yourself very lean. That's a hard thing to do, and I feel like you can go back and forth beautifully. But with that, you've gained so much fitness knowledge for your clients today.
Yeah, I think also as a woman, so many women shy away from weight because they're like, oh, I don't want to be big. But as I've gotten older and gravity takes over, I've realized that muscle is going to hold that skin up. And so it's definitely beneficial to have muscles, and that it's sexy to have muscles, and that it's, you don't get huge, you can be in control of that muscle mass. And so it's been great. Plus I teach at Soul Cycle, and so there's that kind of marriage with the weight training and the cardio, so I love it.
Oh, that's perfect. Yep. I'm a true believer in weights as well for women. I actually lift weights every single day. And besides the physicality that you just described, it's also great for our bone density. I mean, I will lift the rest of my
Yeah.
life, even into our centenarian years when we're over 100, which we will be. Living
Exactly.
in Palm Springs, a wonderful, fabulous life without a husband.
Right, yes, that sounds like a really nice perspective,
We'll
actually.
plan on it. So Amber, I of all the things that you've done, I mean, I've always been impressed, but when I saw you on stage as a showgirl, I was just like in shock. It was so amazing. You are an absolutely gorgeous dancer, and I don't think people realize the amount of genres that you hit. I mean, you are a real and bona fide Vegas showgirl. So you had a show for a long time, and you currently have the show Purple Rain as the Prince's like lead dancer. And I know that's on hiatus, obviously, for COVID right now, correct?
Yes, the last time I took the stage in Purple Rain at the Tropicana was March 14th, which was a Saturday night. Yeah, it's been very heavy. It's been very dark. It's been really unfortunate. It's kind of like, after 2 or 3 months, I was hopeful. And then it was like, okay, this is the new reality, especially learning about Broadway not opening shows until January. So it was like, okay, do I take on a new skill? And with a new skill, in order to perfect that, it's 10,000 hours. And they say that that's 1,000 hours a year. So that's 10 years, to establish the kind of lifestyle and that I currently live right now. I don't have that kind of time again. Like, I need to be living where I'm currently at. And so it's like, do I take a new skill? And then it's like, okay, now I have this new skill. And then is it like peace to that skill when shows open again, So I kind of really just sat with myself and was like, what else do I really love? And that would be something that I could still do maybe after quarantine and when shows open. And that was fitness. Like, I love fitness because I've realized too that for work, you have to do something, you might as well love it. And so I love being able to empower other women and other people, as well as really encourage a healthy lifestyle. And so because I get to SoulCycle is open, so I'm teaching part-time at SoulCycle, and then I pretty much just launched RedHotBox. I was like, let me pivot. So I transformed my 3-car garage into a gym, and it's kicking ass.
Absolutely. I mean, and you are kicking ass, and this is just diversification. And also, yes, we can be dancers forever also, but this fitness business will transcend. I mean, fitness is going nowhere but up. It's going to be needed, especially after COVID, and also with the obesity crisis. It's never ending. So I think it's a genius, and it's such a wonderful play on words, as you are a showgirl, and you're a redhead, she's a real redhead, people, a real redhead, and I can attest. And it's like
yes, carpet.
When you go to Vegas and watch a showgirl, you're living out your fantasies. And with Red Hot Box, the color of her hair, and it's just a play on words because she has the garage gym in the box. Again, that also means safety from COVID. You're inside. I'm sure you're extremely precautious, as you always are, and you live out your fitness desires. So what a better play on words. And I will obviously put all the logos and everything. Did you kind of meet with somebody to come up with a concept, or did you just kind of like brainstorm with yourself?
It kind of was an ongoing thing, because redheads were either hot or not. I've realized there's no in between with a redhead. And so it's so funny too, because for so long I hated being a redhead. I got teased that I had orange hair and carrot top. And it's so funny because I danced in Fantasy, which is a very well respected female review. Yes, it's a topless show, but beautiful. Very, very classy and tasteful. And we share the theater with Carrot Top. So we kind of have that in common. And so it's just really funny that, he's built an empire with his red hair. And I think finally, when you lean into that unique characteristic about yourself, Lord, sorry, my Great Dane, come here, baby, come here. When you lean into that and accept that, it's kind of like I've used that to my advantage, And so I live in Sin City, and so I'm not always, I like to, Lord, come here. I like to always straddle the line, if you will. I like to always color inside the lines. And so I thought Red Hot Box could be really playful, and all puns included. Come here, baby.
Well, it's playful and it's sexy, but you're like walking the walk. You're not like some person who was like, oh, I'm going to start a fitness business and knows nothing what she's doing. You have that really sexy forefront. I mean, sex sells. It's legitimate, but you also have a full spectrum of knowledge, and it's going so well so far, and it will continue to do well. Plus, look at the amount of tourists that will hit Vegas, and they're usually like Midwestern, Southern, people that are
right.
I'm sedentary all winter. Maybe they had a big buffet dinner the night before and want to seek like a personal trainer, or they're there for their bachelorette party. Who knows? The sky's the limit. So that's really exciting. you purchase a ton of equipment, and I'm very impressed with that because
Thank you.
after breaking my leg and arm, I immediately got on the stick, and this is before COVID is when I started ordering things, and then COVID was hitting. It took I was on a 6 months waiting list for 20-pound dumbbells. You were able to order all of this stuff. I'm sure it wasn't easy. Did you have any kind of a partnership with somebody? Because you have some really sophisticated equipment in there.
Thank you. You know what? There was some waiting. There was some order and waiting. And I also had to get creative with things. I'm still waiting at this beautiful black on black set of dumbbells that aren't gonna get to me until October. So for now, I have some colorful neoprene dumbbells, but resistance bands are really great to work with. So there's that, and kind of just more calisthenics, like using your own body, like ballet class, you know what I mean? Just using your own body, or like a yoga kind of feel. In Pilates, you're just utilizing your own body. And it kind of sparked from once COVID hit and we got quarantined, a way for me to stay connected to my riding community here in Las Vegas and beyond, was I launched a free circuit, Facebook circuit. And it was like a 30-minute, I've started to kind of lead on the bike, and then SoulCycle was like, yeah, you can't do that. So I was like, okay, it's conflict of interest, got it. And so then I just stuck with the circuit, and we upped it to 40 minutes. And it was more just kind of using bands. You could use a towel, using light dumbbells, and more just using your own body weight. And so I kind of just capitalized on that. And then once SoulCycle opened after 81 days of the circuit training, I kind of dialed that back, and then was like, okay, how can I pivot and get some more revenue coming in, since my show's closed and all the extra gigs in Las Vegas are closed, all the trade shows, events. So everything I did attracted the masses. So I had to start getting creative. And that is where RedHotBox kind of came into play. And I wanted to make it, because it is at my house, that it is a safe environment. Yes, I have all the COVID killing cleaners, but also I want to make sure that I inviting people into my home that I trust and know those people. So it's kind of, I just open it up to my writing community and some of the people I know, word of mouth. But the goal is probably within a year to get a commercial space and launch a RedHotBox in a commercial space, so that I could open it to everybody.
Oh, that's amazing. And you will do that. Well, I've been loving those circuit training videos, and I'm totally copying you, because I also have a Peloton at home. Right. And I love when you got on the floor and you put the resistance band around your own stationary bike and was doing the rowing, because I want to get a rowing machine, but I'm like, I can't do that yet with my brokenness. And I'm like, okay, just one step at a time, because I've already re-injured myself, because you know how we are. Yeah. So what size did you use, and what strength? Because I did it, but it's still too weak. Which size do you use for that? The one around your bike?
I think I had a 50 or a 70. And you know what? It also, the tension can increase or decrease based on how far you sit back from your bike. And
wrapping it around your wrist and things like that.
Sure. Exactly. Because that adds more tension to the band.
Well, I thought it was genius. I'm totally copying it.
Playing around with that.
Perfect. Now, I also love just looking at your circuit training and looking at your pictures. Excuse me. You have a little gratitude box. So before people come in and you train them, I love that they write a manifestation or something on their mind. And let's just face it, this pandemic is causing so much anxiety and depression. And I imagine just them being able to write it down and talking to you, because you're so easy to talk to as a friend and a trainer. And I've been so lucky to be your friend for so long. Thanks, they must really, really appreciate that. And then you get the pheromones out, you live out your fantasy desires in the fitness space. And then, they must just feel so much better. You really enlighten their day.
I think it's when you put the thought to paper and write it out, that is the connect, right? Because it's one thing to just have the thought. It's another thing to take action with that thought, and writing it I've had some friends that do a lot of programming and manifestation programming, and it's the writing down is the key. And so I've been journaling. Like I'll wake up and I have the 5-minute journal, and I'll write down. It talks about like 3 things I'm grateful for. I am, and you fill in the blanks. What I would like for today to happen, and kind of just putting out that positive energy and manifesting that, because a lot of times with our thoughts, uh, our thoughts can kill us. They can fail us, and so I think it's just changing that, and that way also starting your session out on a good note.
That's wonderful.
Like,
and also as entertainers and dancers, we are the utmost, we're so hard on ourselves. The mean girl in the head is absolutely atrocious. And you almost, like you said, just gratitude journals, writing things down. There's so many things that you can do, but it really is up to us to make that decision, because you can sit there and be miserable and feel sorry for yourself, or you can just like figure it out, and you have. And when I was asking you what topics we'd like to cover, the two of us, you really talk about showing up for your clients. And Amber, can you define what that means and how that perhaps makes you different from other trainers?
I would say, Anne, like, especially as an actor, a dancer, and a model, showing up at that audition is like 80% of it, and so showing up and giving yourself a chance to be awesome, instead of failing yourself automatically and cutting yourself from the possibility of being booked or the possibility of growing and greatness and positive change. So it's simply just showing up at the gym. If it's walking on the treadmill, if that's all you got, if you're like, you know what, it took me so much effort just to get here, I'm going to give myself 10 minutes. And in that 10 minutes, just showing up, you might have the best workout of like the month that you could have thought you've had. And so I think there's showing up physically. It's like your body might be there, but is your mental there? Is your spiritual there? Is your emotional there? I'm sure you've experienced just going through the motions day in and day out, but it's like really being present in that moment and showing up for yourself, because I think showing up is you believing in yourself and you being hopeful in yourself and you giving yourself a chance for positive growth.
Absolutely. Like, even if I'm really sick sometimes, if I have a cold, I'll make myself do something, because no one's ever said, oh, I so regret a workout. I so regret going to the gym. I mean, unless you become severely injured or something.
Yeah.
But no, that's very true. And that's just a good, and I think it's your own Jerry Jones from the Dallas Cowboys that says, your cup runneth over. Like you show up and you fill that cup to the max and you overflow that cup, meaning do it with passion, do it with excitement, do it with someone like with the intention to help others. But sometimes, like you said, it's just simply showing up. Even if you're not half there, at least you made the step forward.
Yeah, it's kind of like having integrity with your word. Saying you're going to do something and following through, that helps build confidence.
Absolutely.
So if it's, I'm going to work out 3 days a week and committing to that, and showing up at the gym or taking a class or showing up at RedHotBox, and then you just feel good about yourself. You're like, I did it. I said I wanted to do it and I did it. And that feels great.
It feels good with fitness and in life, because if you have that mindset with that means you're not a quitter. And anything that in life that you can take on, unless it's super difficult and you can't, you really think you may not quit. So that helps, I think, transcend with life and health in general. Now, sometimes it's hard to become, or easy to become complacent. Sometimes the same thing every day. You're in the same red hot box. How do you keep yourself rested, hydrated? When do you work out? I mean, do you work out with your clients? Because sometimes you're working with clients all day that you're standing there adjusting them, that you don't feel like you're doing your own workout. How do you handle all of that?
Right. I think that there comes a time where you have to invest in yourself and you have to carve out that time for yourself. And when you do that, it's showing yourself that you find value in yourself and that you find worth in yourself. And it's like setting your own boundaries and limitations for yourself. And I think that shows a sense of accountability and respect and responsibility for yourself. Mm-hmm. So like before I spoke with you, I worked out on my own. and then I'm teaching tonight at SoulCycle at 6 p.m. So I teach four classes a week. And so then I also try to like do my weight training 4 times a week. And I think it's just showing up and doing it, just like waking up and going to work, and I think it's also, it's like chasing that feeling. When you operate from a place of feeling, when something feels good, you want to do that again because that feels good. Or like, waking up and every morning I'll heat up some water and I'll squeeze a lemon in it. And I do, warm lemon water every morning and write in my journal. And it just feels good to start that way, as opposed to if I say I went out drinking the night before and then I'm just sluggish and I sleep through all that. And I just feel like shit the rest of the day,
You really do.
So I think I've even, like, I don't really party much anymore. I don't go out as much because I know that I am going to be shit the next day. And I like myself and feel better about myself when I wake up and I get to work out and I get to show up for myself and invest in me.
Absolutely. And that's wonderful. And I just want to put a little in parentheses, and don't anybody out there think that she's not fun, because I know she's fun. She may drink lemon water and she doesn't party anymore, which is great. I don't either. I really have no desire, but this girl is damn fun. Okay. I will leave it at that. So,
and I think there is a good balance. And you know what? I work hard. And when I do play, I play hard. And then I have to reap those repercussions. And then I'm like, okay, it just becomes not worth it over time sometimes.
Absolutely. And some people perpetuate that the rest of their lives, that same party mode. It's like, oh, wouldn't that get old after a while? I just like, there's the same people or something to talk about. And then you kind of outgrow some of these people as well. You kind of become a little more cerebral. Maybe you want to constantly improve yourself, whereas others don't. So that's very impressive. And now with all that, all the classes, all the training, how do you avoid overtraining? Because I am a victim of that all the time. Like even my doctors and surgeons are like, you're not allowing your bones to rest. Like you're not allowing, all I'm doing is hitting. And they're like, it's not going to repair. You're just tearing it up and then going to bed, tearing it up, but I'm not actually recovering. How do you deal with overtraining and not doing that?
I think self-care, having that balance is really important. Very important. And I think other times your body eventually will just tell you, slow the F down. And I think, and your body is telling you, slow the F down. I think that when you get sick, that your body's like, yo, hold up, you need to slow it down. And so I think times like that for sure is being aware, or if, you experience a bad pain or you just feel really sluggish, and you're like, you know what? I've been crushing it for 13 days straight. Maybe I'll just walk the dogs and I'll just take a nice CBD ball bath and get a massage or some acupuncture. Just take it really easy. Maybe I'll go to a yoga class. So maybe just changing up the intensity of your workout.
But
honestly,
still knowing that you did something. And back to you with it. You can walk your dogs, but Amber has, 5?
I had 6. My Great Dane was a bully, so I have 3. My mom adopted the 2 that my Great Dane bullied, and then my dog nanny adopted 1. And so, I became this like dog lady. I just wanted to like save them all.
You always have, and it's beautiful. But I'm talking, so when Amber takes her dogs for a walk, it is an ab workout, a chest workout, traps, back, quads, glutes. And it's every muscle and bone in that body. They're beautiful dogs. And you have such a kind heart with animal rescue, particularly with dogs, and they're beautiful. And the Great Dane is gorgeous. Yeah. And I kind of like that he's a bully. He's got that edge. And you can hear it in the bark. And anybody who may be afraid of intruders while you're at the Red Hot Box Fitness, you got Amber. I mean, she's very aggressive and she's very, very good. And I think she has martial arts skills. And then you've got Lord the Great Dane. So shalt not worry.
Right. And I have Lucy, the English Mastiff. So yeah.
Oh, forgot about little Lucy, the English Mastiff. Yes. Lucy's such a sweet name. It's an English Mastiff. Just gorgeous. Right. Yeah. Very cute. So also, when you go on stage and when you prepare for the stage shows, when you go back to Purple Rain and other things that you're going to do, how do you adjust your proper nutrition? Do you really cut the water that day to look more strident on stage, or do you absolutely need that water to keep you hydrated well up there.
You know, it's so interesting because in fantasy, it was like 8 of us showgirls were the star of the show, right? It was
Yeah.
about us. It was about the fantasies. Whereas with Purple Rain, Jason Tenor, who impersonates Prince, he's phenomenal, by the way, as you know. He's the star of the show. So it's like, not that I uh am less than or slack, that's not it at all, but it's like I'm also a little more covered, than being in a top
It's much
show
different.
and doing fish
Absolutely.
nets. So I'm a little bit more covered, but as a dancer, my body is my tool. I don't really take it to that extreme,
Mm-hmm.
like say a fitness competitor would be, or a bikini
Or as
competitor.
cheerleaders that we had to be.
Right. Or yeah, I'm not weighed. Jason doesn't weigh me. And I think I just have my own worth and value as myself, right? Because you're only as strong as your weakest link. And I have a lot of respect for being a performer in a show that I maintain and really always try to be at my best. So I try not to what's the word I'm looking
Well, he
for?
respects you as a professional, and he knows that you're not going
Yeah.
to. I mean, that's just who you are. But for the NFL, we definitely had to, and a lot of other shows we've been in. I mean, I've had to sign. We've both had to sign contracts. Like, once we get hired, you shall not go, above or below a certain amount of weight. Usually, it's obviously above, just for aesthetic purposes,
Yeah.
and that can turn a lot of people off. And there's problems in the future with a lot of girls that we both know that once they're done dancing, or once they can't handle that, not that someone can't handle it, but it's another discipline, and it's very difficult when you're out and about, and then people are drinking and having like tortillas and nachos and things like that. You feel boring, like, oh no, I can't. But as professionals, you just do. I mean, or you indulge and then figure out, okay, I better be on that treadmill, tonight, if that's going to happen.
Yeah. Aren't we messed up?
Very.
Up, right?
I don't really know what normalcy is, but I'm fascinated by people that can just enjoy and just like go to the state fair and go nuts. Sometimes I wish I were like that, but then again, and I do.
Yeah, because
Not
then
that I
there's the
don't.
trade-off. It feels good to look good, right?
Yeah.
Not saying that indulging makes you look bad, but I think that when you do indulge, I think it's just a personal self-respect. Like, it's also a health thing, like for your joints, for your organs, and so maintaining a healthy lifestyle is really important for longevity as a human being, because there are 2/3 of our of Americans who are overweight, obese. That's horrible.
And
And
growing
we can
steadily.
control this. We're in charge of our own bodies, and so yeah, it's like, you've let yourself go. Where's that disconnect? Do you feel you're not worthy? Do you feel you're not good enough? Do what is it psychologically?
And I mean, of course, we could get into the politics of it, but there's a lot of food deserts and there's a lot of things. But even
Yes.
people that don't have to deal with that still do it. And I just think it's like, it's a
Yes.
choice. You can't not know. You can't not know. And it is literally a surplus and deficit of calories. I mean, you got it. But some people are just unaware of caloric content. Like, oh, I thought that was only, like, you go in the store, you look at crackers, for example, 20 calories. People think, oh, the one sleeve is 20 calories. No, per serving, that means 3 crackers. 3 times 27 in a sleeve, whatever. So it's just interesting in the knowledge. And I would like to go back to school for nutrition with that. But on that, what has been your favorite cheat food, Miss Amber Strouser, during COVID?
Ooh,
If you allow yourself, and I hope you do.
of course. Oh yeah. And I definitely do indulge more, I think, now that I'm not half naked. Okay, so I became a vegan probably in 2014, I think. And it was like, in my mind, I was like, oh, if I have less possibility of food to eat, then I could probably drop some weight. Not that I was ever like overweight or had an issue. It was my own mental,
Yeah. You're talking to me. I get it.
yeah. So, but then it became more about the moral standard of being a vegan, and how, you know, eating animals, I'm causing abuse and torture. Even though there are humane ways to kill animals, it's bad for the planet. It's, for our fellow humans. And anyway, there was just other moral reasons of why I stuck with it. But I do actually eat egg whites, so I'm slightly vegetarian.
There's a lot of vegan ovos. I mean, and that's just pure protein, and there's nothing. And if it's a safe, the chickens are safe, and you probably read the packaging, cage free, all of these things.
Exactly, organic, and yeah. And I try to support like local and all that.
Sure.
But I love vegan. There's some vegan ice cream that's amazing. I think the brand is Ooh La La.
Oh, I've seen that.
Really good and creamy. So I think it's the vegan ice cream, or even Ben and Jerry's has excellent flavors. Excellent. And it's still high. It's high in fat because of the coconut,
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting you say less variety as a vegan, but as we know now in like 2020 and going forward, there is such a vast variety. I mean, look at Chipotle. Chipotle has numerous items that are vegan, and so many. I love the Netflix documentary Game Changers.
Yes.
Where so many athletes are. I mean, Mike Tyson is a vegan.
Is he now?
Yes. I was like in shock. I mean, that guy, to me, he eats like a raw meat in the cage. I love Mike Tyson. Yep. He became a vegan, and he's extremely healthy.
That's great. And I know for some people, it doesn't work for them. Like my dogs are pescatarians. Actually, they were vegan for a little bit, and then I switched them to pescatarian. Mm-hmm. And I know like cats have to eat an animal protein.
Yeah.
But dogs can actually be vegan. But with the size of mine, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make them pescatarian. So I really try to be really conscious of that, like so that I am not just subjecting myself to veganism, but also my animals. I'm being really conscious of, why is a dog above a cow or a goat or, another farm animal, a chicken, or, because different cultures value different animals differently, So
anyway. Yeah. And I'm sure you watch those protein levels, because I did have one friend who had a pit bull, and he was vegan with a pit bull, but it was not nearly enough protein. It was ridiculous.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Malnutrition. It was awful.
I started, when you write down in a journal, or I was using MyFitnessPal and I would keep track of my macros. Mm-hmm. Cause even as a trainer a year ago, I had a trainer, you just because you're a coach doesn't mean you have all the answers.
You can always learn more.
Yes,
absolutely.
Exactly. There's room for growth. And so sometimes you just need someone else to kick your own ass because you're not kicking it yourself enough, Mm-hmm. And so, I realized I wasn't eating enough protein at all, and I was eating way too many plant fats, way too many. So it's kind of a good wake up call, and just, to be consciously aware of, like you had mentioned with the crackers, of like, oh, whoa, I didn't realize that this is what's all in there.
Right. But it's all super scientific, and it can get very intimidating. And that's where, nutritionists and dietitians can certainly come in, but counting macros, but there's a lot of like trackers where you can count macros and things like that. But like, people like you and I, we actually have just so much knowledge, not to toot our own horns, but at this point we're so defined as and we know our bodies so well that we almost know how a certain ingredient's going to affect us or what have you. And, as you grow and mature and get older, things do change and you have to alter. I mean, we can't really eat like we did in high school, middle school, on the NFL and college, it totally changed. So anyway, well, Miss Amber Strausser, RedHotBox, my fantasy, my personal fantasy girl. I just adore her. How can we find you on all social media platforms, websites, and everything, and support you?
Cool. You know what? I just launched a website, amberstrausser.com. So AMBERSTRAUSER.com. And on that website, I have RedHotBox. I also have my two other passions, which are Heel Rocks, HEALROX. And I've created bracelets that have charms, specifically more like bicycles are on them, and dumbbells and kettlebells and breeds of dogs. And
cool.
With gemstones. Yeah. So there's different energies, so that, like I wear my one bicycle and dumbbell one all the time, just to kind of remind me of, the loves of my life. And when I go out, I'll put my dog charms on, so they're with me all the time. And so it's just like nice just to look down at just a nice little reminder of the loves of my life, and then the different energies from the colors of the gemstones. And then I also have Heal Time, HEELTIME, that are recycled. I basically recycle worn and unworn heels and sneakers into clock art, functional clock art. And so I've still been doing
amazing pieces of art. Highly recommended. And all of these will go in the links. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah. So I have that. And then I have, as the Red Hot Spinstress, I have my like acting and modeling and dancing resumes and on camera hosting reels. And I have all that. I have a page for all that. So basically it's like everything Amber is right there. And so Instagram, Amber Strausser, Heal Time, Heel Rocks, they all have Instagram, which can all be found. Everything can be found on amberstrausser.com.
Okay, that's perfect. Yeah. So it's a one-stop go-to shop, but I will also put all the links. Yeah. Amber, it has been such a pleasure. Again, you are my personal fantasy girl and so many others. And I highly encourage anybody who is in the Vegas area, and I'm sure when you travel again, you'll open yourself up to things too. She is inspiring, and she walks the walk, talks the talk. You're walking into a Vegas showgirl, and don't be intimidated by her. In the beginning it is, but she's phenomenal. I promise. Just sometimes that with that much knowledge and power and how beautiful you are, it can cause intimidation, but it's there. Behind that is a wonderful person, beautiful inside and out. So that's why she's my personal fantasy girl.
And something that is also I'm really passionate about. I feel like as a performer, as a dancer, that I've had a great successful career. 10 years ago, I created a list of 30 things to do before I was 30. And I had 6 months, and it was anything from something that bettered myself, that benefited somebody else, and benefited the planet. As simple as like having a tree planted, or I stopped tanning in tanning beds. And something that I'm really passionate about is I created dance scholarships to give back to young aspiring dancers. And I now have 2 of them. And it's through the Dance Council, which is a nonprofit. When I grew up as a dancer, my mother was a single parent, and I would win these dance scholarships to go to LA and New York to train. And so it was just another vehicle of a financial aid to help my mother pay so that I could go and enjoy these great dance training scholarships I would get. So it's going into year 10. It's Amber Strausser Scholarship and Company B. And I've had a lot of military people that have donated. Some of my family will donate money. I donate money. And it's simply, I take submissions. This is in February through the Dance Council.
That's awesome.
I take submissions. It's open to everyone, but I mostly am for the jazz and the tap category.
Sure.
And I'm able to give back, so I have that also is listed on amberstrausser.com.
I love that. Isn't it just so wonderful to pay it forward and help others? Because we both came from single mothers. Yeah. I just think it's like your responsibility. So that's the Dance Council, and they have a website, and that would be on there as well.
That is on there, yes, under amberstrausser.com, yes.
Wow, very inspiring. You set the motion for a long and wonderful Labor Day weekend. Are you doing anything fun?
No, not at all.
Nor am I. I'm going to swim. I'm going to swim. That's all I'm going to do.
I probably will get out my fall stuff. I probably will get my pumpkins out, maybe start setting up some Halloween things. That is the excitement of my weekend.
I love Halloween. That is super exciting in itself. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
We do have a lot to look forward to, even though it's been a hard time. You just got to keep up the attitude and work out at RedHotBox Fitness, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, it's been dark and heavy, and even though I've felt like I've been buried, and I'm sure a lot of people have been feeling like they've been buried, I've realized that in actuality I've been planted. So for all of you who are feeling like dark and heavy, just remember that you have been planted, and you need to water yourself so that you grow flowers and not weeds. So,
and absolutely, you can diversify. If you lose your business and all these other things, look at your list of talents and skills. Amber sat down with herself and it's like, what else do I love? What else am I good at? And she diversified and segmented. And probably, in hindsight, when you do that, you quadruple your income for the future. So it's a time to really reflect, and Amber, great advice on that. I appreciate that.
Thanks, babe.
So have a wonderful weekend, and I will put all the links, and it'll go up next Friday. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Anne. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.
And that was Amber Strauser of Red Hot Box Fitness. We appreciate you for listening, and please subscribe and rate the show on iTunes. You can also listen on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, Luminary, Tuned In, or at Bleav.com. You can reach out to me for any questions or topics you'd like covered on the show at Anne McDaniels. Please stay tuned in next week for another episode of So